So I saw a movie recently, and it was a film that I heard a lot of buzz about. So I figured I'd talk about it with you guys because, well, why not? Verotika was directed by the singer-songwriter Glenn Danzig, who has a bunch of really cool songs, I won't lie. And yeah, they're good. They're good. But he also directed a film. We're here to talk about the film, not his musical career. And this film has been doing the rounds for a while. It premiered on digital a while back, and ever since it did, a lot of the film's comments and certain thoughts that people have had on it have been on the internet. Ever since I started hearing them, I just really had to check out this film because when you hear sentences like this is this year's room or this decade's room or makes the room look like a masterpiece, I have to check this out. What could this thing possibly be? This film is based on the Verotic Comics series, which is a label owned by Danzig himself, and these are basically erotic themed comics, but they're horror, violence, and based on creatures and all sorts of characters. But they have an erotic sense to them. They definitely go into almost porn-like tendencies. So basically, they're horror porn comics. So yeah, there's a film on that now. So let's talk about the film then. The film is divided into three different parts, three different short stories in a way, and they're all introduced by a girl named Morella, who we meet in the beginning of the film because she's this witch kind of character, I guess, with like tiny devil horns, and she's killing a woman by pulling out her eyeballs, and then she breaks the fourth wall and starts talking to us.
Welcome, my darklings. My name is Morella, and this is Verotica.
Now, I did some research on this film, and it turns out that a lot of the actors in this film are actual porn stars. So, great. That's just great. Let's see how the film opens up after that. So the first short story we're introduced to is with this girl named Danzig, and her first scene of this film is she's with a guy on her couch, and she's giving him a blowjob, and they're having a big makeout session. You know, great. That's great, I guess. And he tries to pull her shirt off because, want to turn up things a little bit. And she's a little apprehensive about that at first. And you're thinking that, oh yeah, this guy is being a little creepy about this. But then there seems to be something wrong. There's a reason she doesn't want to suddenly do this. And eventually you find out why. It's because when he manages to take her shirt off, there are eyes on her boobs.
Teacher, they're looking at me.
Don't look. Wait! Come back!
If you think I'm going to show you that, absolutely not. I mean, it's YouTube censorship will destroy me for good. I'm not going to show it to you. But you just have to trust me on this. There are eyes for nipples on her boobs. So, great. Her friend comes to console her, and here's where we introduce one of the bigger problems of the film. Please observe, and you might be able to tell what it is.
Dadette? Please, ma petite, not cry. It's not worth it.
Mahia, it happened again. And it was all going so well.
Then he's insensitive pig. Good riddance.
I know, you are right. But he was so cute.
They are cute. She will make your eyes puffy for your photo shoot tomorrow. The shoot? I forgot.
It's the accents. You can probably tell. It's definitely the accents. Here's the thing. These actors, most of them, pretty much all of them actually, are American actors that were taught a French accent so they would sound more authentic. In fact, Danzig spoke about this in an interview when this film was premiering at a festival.
They had to learn how to speak a French dialect for this one, and not even speaking French at all. They still had to learn their lines, learn how their face was going to be in all the different scenes, and they also had to learn a French accent. So it's much tougher than you think, especially if you've never spoken French before.
I get that there's a pull for authenticity, and I get that you want this, but why? It doesn't make it seem authentic, it makes it seem comical. Because these French accents are anything but authentic. And I think I know a thing or two about what I'm talking about because I actually studied French in high school. Like, I did some of this. That's just not... No. In fact, there was a comment on one of the reviews of this film, which was like, as a French native speaker, this was just offensive to me. This is there throughout this entire story with Danzig, so brace yourself. Throughout the entire scene at the beginning, there's a spider that is crawling on the plant next to Danzig. This spider has a visual effects credit because it's quite a remarkable thing for this movie that spider exists, so it must be credited. And that spider is watching Danzig, and then when the guy and her friend Marielle leave, she starts crying. And as she's crying, the eye nipple things start crying too. And one of the teardrops falls on the spider. The spider becomes a person with multiple arms. These are sentences I am saying, and I am not high or drunk, even though I would love to be. I'm gonna do this sober and look drunk. You see this?
Milk or beer?
Yes, of course. BR. Fuck me. How much more of this movie's left? Oh god, we're only in the first 10 minutes. God help us. God help us all. So yeah, whenever Danzig goes to sleep, this guy comes out, I suppose, and he starts attacking all kinds of women. Now please observe the edits in this scene. I just want to point out something here. Please watch.
Mahiel!
Did you see that sudden cut in music and then they cut to the next shot? Yeah, that I didn't do that. That's in the movie. And this is consistent throughout all three stories. There's weird edits throughout the entire thing, and there's a lot of long pauses that go along with it as well. Characters will say something, the camera will just keep zooming in, and it'll look super awkward. This happens so many times in the film, and there's never any respite to it. I get what Danzig is trying to do, go for this very artsy feel to it, but it really just comes off as a guy who just forgot to say cut while making a movie. So yeah, she gets haunted by these things, and Danzig is trying to get her mind off it and see what she can do to keep staying awake so that other girls don't die because of it. Well, though another girl does die in the process, which is extremely hilarious because of the segue it starts out with.
I'm sure I can accommodate his tastes.
Oh, I am sure you can, ma chère. First, I wish to bend you over right here. and fuck you in the ass.
Monsieur is good eyes. As fuck is my specialty.
So she roams around the city after a while and she tries to keep herself awake. And then she goes to a theater which is showing porn and she has the most innocent reactions to watching porn on a big screen.
This film. It is only people making sex.
Oh, and then the guys in the theater try to rape her because, that's a thing that happens. Are these in the comics? Does this rape thing come around a lot? Because even the guy, Spider Guy, tries it. I don't know. That's just unbelievable. Like, if that's there, that's despicable. I'm sorry. And of course, things start to escalate until she finally realizes that, well, the only way to maybe get rid of this monster for good is if I kill myself, and then he'll be trapped in the real world, and then the cops can come and take him down. And that's exactly what she decides to do finally. And the cops show up, and these cops are amazing. Like the dialogue is phenomenal, and the delivery is even better.
Don't move, monsieur! Take your hands off of her neck and move away, slowly.
I'd like to point out that when that guy said, "Put your hands off her neck," he wasn't touching her neck. These kind of nuggets are amazing to me, and they're littered throughout the film. These things do not sync up quite as well as I think Danzig wanted them to, and they just come off as so awkward and bizarre. And the cops, oh my god, the cops. There's some acting later on. But hey, let's keep watching this scene because we gotta see some more overacting for a minute.
Hold it! That's enough. Whatever it is not going anywhere. You bitch! Wake up! I am dying! Wake up!
Yeah, so she dies, and the creature also dies, and the cops watch over her, and the line delivery is...
Is dead.
So young, so sad. We.
But the freak did not kill her. It looks like an overdose.
C'est strange. Sergeant.
So the second story of this film begins, and this one's about a lady who peels off people's faces and tries to basically mask the scarring that she has on her face. This is also not well done. Now, it has been noted that this is essentially an homage to Eyes Without a Face, which is a classic horror film. In fact, Danzig talked about this in this interview, in the same interview that he did after the screening happened at the festival. But the thing is, this honestly doesn't feel so much like an homage, but it does come under the term of a ripoff. So, yeah, it's kind of a ripoff, honestly, but it's also got stuff mixed in there that's really make it seem like you understand the movie he's really trying to make, because Verotika Comics was essentially, like I said, a horror-themed erotic comic. And for what it's worth, after this is done, this face-peeling stuff, you have a 5-minute scene in a strip club where there are just strippers dancing. And there are multiple scenes like this throughout these 30 minutes of film. It's relentless, and they feel so awkwardly placed and shot, and I don't know, it's not what I want to see while I'm watching a movie which doesn't have any sort of character development or proper writing or anything of the sort. Like, I have nothing against scenes in a strip club or anything like that. That's fine, like, I mean, I enjoy a scene at a strip club as much as the next person. Sentences I never thought I'd say in reviews, by the way, including this. I just don't need this right now. I don't need it in this movie. I don't need it right now. Like, tell a story. But the cops in this one are the highlight for me because this time the cops are even crazier. They all have these really bad lines that sound like a really bad 90s or 80s movie. Or it sounds sort of like stuff from Samurai Cop. If you've seen Samurai Cop, then you know what I'm talking about. But Samurai Cop is funny. This one is actually also funny.
What do you got?
What we got is grizzly, Sarge.
Oh, yeah? How grisly?
Pretty grisly. Face cut off, ear removed, no sign of any other body trauma. Cause of death, apparent shock and loss of blood.
Nice. Another sicko killer.
And since the awkward pause in this one goes on for a while, I thought I'd make it a little entertaining for you, so please enjoy.
There's your motive. They wanted her face.
But yeah, they start to investigate cases, and another girl gets murdered in a very abrupt way.
No!
And then the cops show up and you have even more awkward dialogue. I mean, I don't have to do so much speaking in this review. I feel like I just need you to sit down, bear witness, and I will be like you, just observing, going insane from what's happening on screen. Like, I don't have to do much more than that.
It's pretty gruesome.
Brief me.
Young woman, her face cut off. No apparent motive, no witnesses, no leads. No evidence.
Okay. I get the point. So, how many we got now?
This makes 13. All the same. I think it's pretty safe to assume that these were all done by the same killer.
You think?
So the cop goes digging, he gets to the strip club area, and he meets this guy who looks like The Rock, but I think is The Rock's distant relative or something. He even has a voice that's very similar to how The Rock sounds. I don't quite know what that's about.
LAPD, I'll ask a few questions.
Okay. We haven't done nothing, though.
Looking for one of your dancers. Pretty sure she's a feature here. Goes by the name of Mystery Girl.
You know, a lot of girls here, mister. I don't know all of them.
But yeah, the girl gets to the cop, and there are certain things in this that happen throughout, which I'm not even mentioning. There are so many other little tidbits throughout this entire short story that are so bizarre. For instance, her description of how she's killed a bunch of people and she keeps using their faces, but on top of that, there is also mention that she's killed 13 people, but there are less than 13 faces in her house or that small little space she's living in. That's just really bad production design work. Like, it's not hard to do 13 faces just hanging on a wall. This is really poor stuff. And again, all of this awkward dialogue and stuff that we spend time with is insane. It's useless. But yeah, I guess the short then later ends, and yeah, she's continuing on her ravenous pursuit of faces, I guess. What a great story. So well written, right? Yeah. The last short is called Contessa of Blood. I had to look that up 5 times. This short. This is by far the worst short. I'm actually not even kidding. This is hands down the worst of the 3 shorts. It is terribly directed. This is where Danzig just either A, gave up, or B, thought he was way too good. Because he does the most stupid shit in this one. This movie is about some queen, I guess, or some ruler, and she lives off the blood of virgins to stay young, and she doesn't she doesn't call them virgins. She calls them virgins because I don't know.
I assure you.
So she's a virgin?
Yes, Contessa, she's pure, yes.
Sort of reminds me when you're making an exquisite salad. Sometimes it's like, do you want the gherkins, the virgin? All she does is pick up girls and suck on their blood for the entirety of it. That's it. There's no kinds of, enemy who's trying to stop her or anything. She just does it and moves on to the next girl and the one after that and the one after that. I'm assuming because you sort of get like a day in the life of thing here, and it's boring. 1, 2, it's stretched to never-ending lengths. Like, this doesn't need to be 30 minutes long, and it's 30 minutes of this fucking movie. Unbelievable stuff. And this is, like I said, when at the beginning I said 90 minutes. And it feels like an eternity. It felt like I was watching this film for hours because it just kept slowly torturing me. It felt... This is an insult, honestly, to filmmaking. Like, this short is an insult to filmmaking. Like, I have seen student films better made than this. I know, because I was one of the students who made student films one time. What do you get by the end of Verotika? Nothing. You don't get any characters. You don't get anything to latch onto. You don't care about the scenarios. You don't care about the story or the world they're trying to build. You care about none of it. And it just sort of comes off as a failed experiment in trying to tell a horror anthology, and it's horribly, shoddily executed. And let's talk about the horses in this, by the way, because they really want you to know that they had the budget for those horses. They really spent some time with the horses in this scene. They wanted you to know. They dished out a lot of money on those horses, because the rest of it's pretty much either green screen or really bad production design once again. I mean, this movie is lazy. It is so lazy. The film ends with another girl getting beheaded. I haven't even talked about the fucking 5-minute scene where the virgin is put hanging on the top on this thing, and she just gets licked for 5 minutes, and the blood she just sucks on the blood. There's very lazy point where this girl's laying upside down and she slits the throat, and she's actually pressing on the tube which is installed to get blood in her face. Incompetence. Fucking incompetence. Fuck. The Room is better than this. Is more competently made than this, and that is saying some shit. The Fanatic is more competently made than this. This is bullshit. Fuck, man. Look, I hate trashing on films like this, okay? I don't want to disgrace filmmakers. I've made a few short films. My last video was basically my last short film, and I get it. It's tough. It's not easy. Like, those films were not easy to make. Those were only 5-minute shorts to 10-minute shorts. I get it. It's just, there is a moment where you have to consider that something's being made with a ton of heart, and something's just being made because it's trying to sell a gimmick. This one was gimmicks. That's it. There's no heart. There doesn't seem to feel like there's a sincere amount of effort put into it, and it just comes off as a waste. Like, you wasted so much time. It's unfortunate. It really is. But at the same time, there are so many moments of unintentional hilarity that you could probably just enjoy this if you go see it with some friends, like on digital, if once things become better in the future, when there's less pandemic stuff to worry about. Get together, sit down, have this on, have a great time. Similar to The Fanatic, I'm not gonna grade the film. I feel like I've pretty much signified what grade it should probably get, so I'm just gonna leave it to that and put a wrap on this review. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video on this movie. don't recommend it. Obviously, do not recommend this movie. Yeah, that about concludes that. Look forward to more reviews very soon. I have some stuff from before that I've been wanting to talk about that's coming your way. So always, guys, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.